What's going on, Giants fans? Welcome to Breaking Tackles, the New York Giants podcast. Alongside Manny, I am your host, Antonio. What's going on, everybody? Manny, what's going on, brother? How are you? How's everything going, bro?
Oh man, I'm blessed, bro. Super excited. The Joe Shane era
Has
has
officially
begun.
begun.
Our new head coach is on his
Yes,
way.
sir.
For you wrestling nerds, Royal Rumble is Saturday, start of WrestleMania season.
There you
Championship
go.
Sunday coming up. Lots to look forward to. How you doing, man? You got a vacation coming up, huh?
Yeah, man. I am actually, after we're done with this podcast, I'm going to start packing because I leave tomorrow in like 5-6 hours. I'm on a plane and I haven't packed anything. That's what I like to do, pack at last minute, be completely irresponsible. But that's not important. What's important is that we're going to talk Giants and we're going to talk about what was our impressions on Joe Sheen, man. Um, Manny, right off the bat, just give me kind of like we saw the press conference. What were your thoughts on the press conference and just immediate reaction on that?
Exactly what a GM press conference should be.
Correct.
Boring.
Right.
Very GM talk.
Very G-
You
so
know,
very vanilla.
yeah, I love the one parts I got from it was the quotes. Him talking to his kids, saying, work hard, get good grades, you can do anything you can. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's the exact quote, but another exact quote he said was, when you learn how to work hard in everything you do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only way you'll know how to work.
Right.
I really liked a lot of his stuff, and obviously, you've seen him getting lit up talking about being a GM for the Giants,
Right.
seeing his kids in there, and him lighting up. Seeing his son with the Jays, fresh.
Talking about
Like
how
I
around
was,
the
oh,
league,
yeah,
the prestige on being on the Giants.
yeah,
Remember when
yeah,
everybody was like, "Oh yeah, nobody's gonna want this job." Like, there you
yeah, dude.
go.
We get it. And obviously, we've been fans, so we know
Right.
that it's been stir. And I feel like I've been saying this
Right.
word a lot, but there's no other way to explain it. It's
Stir
been stir
fries.
fry. Like even my dog says stir fry, and it's been bad. But it's still like, first off, it's one of 32.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
it's a pillar,
Right. It's
regardless of what you want to say. It's a pillar, and
right.
it's being able to get a chance to be in a big market with two top 7 picks,
Right.
5 top picks overall, and you get a chance to actually put your stamp here, and you're the first GM out of the building being hired since '79. So that's obviously a lot of. I mean, it's who wouldn't like. I get hasn't been the best situation for the Giants, but it's still the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think that yes, like we mentioned, his press conference was very vanilla. But then since his press conference, he's been on Tiki and Tierney and WFAN. He's been on Good Morning Football, in the NFL Network, and if you have listened to all the things that he's said, yes, everything has been pretty much status quo, very vanilla. But you can nitpick some of the things that he said and some of the things that has lead you, to hope something good might
Yeah,
come out of it. Again, we understand that it's enough talking. We want to see actions because as Giants fans, we've had already almost 10 years of mediocrity going on. But just the little things like me and you were talking about this off air when he was talking about data analytics, when he was talking about what was the word that he said? That
data innovation.
data innovation, which is funny that he used data innovation because data analytics is such a spicy topic on
But yeah,
Twitter, and he kind of, not that he kind of, he made it for sure known he wants the competitive advantage from data and from analytics and data innovation, but at the end of the day, he's making the decision on it. All that he's
exactly.
using that stuff for is for competitive advantage. That's what I love to hear. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you have to find what's the new way to get the competitive advantage, aka money ball, you know?
Yeah, it's a tool. It's a tool that's allotted to you there for sure.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, what was that one phrase that Dave Gettleman said? We hired some computer
Some
folks.
computer guys in the back or something like that.
Joe Judge said that, football wasn't played on a Mac or something like that. Like something that just made it seem like they didn't really care about analytics or didn't care enough about analytics. And Joe Shane has, is coming from a school of like, yeah, he learned from guys like John Fox,
Right.
Bill Parcells, other older coaches and stuff, Tony Sperano, guys like that.
Right.
He's learned from those guys. That was where his foundation is, but he was young enough and was in technology enough to be able to kind of, get with the times. And I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, shit. Didn't you said the Tiki Turney interview?
Right.
I mean, they had magnets hanging up on the draft wall and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
like he's talking about not just upgrading the team, but just the
facility
whole
itself.
structure,
Exactly. Yeah. And he mentioned that he already has had a Zoom meeting with all the scouts. He explained kind of sort of how he likes his reports, I guess what it is, to be done. And he wants, when they meet up again, he wants people to give him the reports in this way. Here's one thing that I like about Sheen, and this is something that Bean, which is the current GM in the Bills, mentioned. He mentioned that pretty much he laid out the foundation, so whatever he wanted done, he let Joe know, and Joe would take care of everybody and let everybody know. And if you remember also, when Joe Sheen left the Bills and Bean, I forgot what was Bean's first name, but Brandon Bean left. He said, yo, I need to have a talk with everybody in my organization because we need to know who's doing what, blah, blah, blah. That's how important Joe Sheen legit is to that organization. Like, he is the straw that moves that stirs that drink.
He's a straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah,
exactly.
dude. Yeah. Like, so I love the fact that we're taking legit somebody that has so much involvement with the success of the Bills, and we're not taking somebody that's just like pen and paper behind the GM, and the GM is doing everything, and he's just like the nerd that's like paying attention. Nah, this guy's hands-on, and yes, he gets his order from the boss, but then he's the one that's managing the guys underneath him. And I love that. I love, what is this guy, what about his ideas that he's now going to bring to the Giants on top of what his boss taught him? I'm excited for those little things about that.
And it's a guy that, I mean, the Bills definitely empower their staff. Mm-hmm. All, from the front office, the coaches, the players, they're all empowered that they really feel like they have a hand in what's being, done.
Absolutely.
And obviously, I mean, that dude, I mean, they said his specialty's in scouting, but he's been pretty much...
So he's done both.
He does everything.
Pro personnel, scouting.
He was the most qualified on that list for sure.
And guess what? That's what we want our guy to be the best at, in the scouting department. Because you know what's happened in the last couple of years? Not even Dave Gettleman. Go even before Dave Gettleman. We failed on first-round draft picks. We have not been good. You can make the argument that you can make the argument that we've had some okay first round picks. Yeah, that's fine, but we haven't had all-stars. We haven't had Pro Bowlers. We haven't had dudes that were like, okay, he's a game changer. We don't have any of those guys in our roster, period. We have a lot of support guys in our roster, but a lot of Robins, not enough Batmans.
And I definitely feel like, if nothing else, we have like, okay, maybe a little bit more now, like Andrew Thomas definitely looks like he could be a game changer.
Yes.
Hopefully he continues that route. Darius Toney, when he was healthy, hopefully he continues that route. Like there's some things there for sure, but I mean, yeah, definitely what you said. Like there's no alphas. There's no like there's that whole stigma that the Giants value their guys more than the league.
Right.
And obviously, that's why it was so imperative to get a GM that had never worked for the Giants at all. And we got it in Shane. So I'm super psyched. Obviously, he said a lot of things, about, a lot of things. He talked about the cap, that it's tough and it's concerning, but that they're going to have to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
He talked about that he's been a scout and he's been a guy in the seats that other guys were when he had his GM press conference and stuff.
Very
he's
important.
About
real quick, just want to touch base on that he's necessarily is not coming to clean house. And that makes sense because the Giants themselves cleaned house with the scouting department, listen, it's just like if you were a new boss in a new company, you have your way of doing things. And this is what he said. If a guy's a hard worker, I can work with that. I'll just change the philosophy around here. I'll bring my pretty much. He's saying he's gonna bring his sauce to the Giants. Just work around my stuff because my stuff works. It comes from a successful current franchise right now. You guys, your stuff doesn't work.
And I love the fact that he's already said that even though he hasn't been like that, he's coming in and there's still a lot of preparations they have to do with the draft. He's already said 1 through 4, he's got it, he's set. Yeah. So that's exciting because obviously that's going to be that's going to be where those impact players come from and where that depth, especially in rounds 2 through 4, where the Giants have 2 threes. Yeah. That's very important. So
that's the ball game. That's the ball game, right? The 1 through 4 is the ball game.
Bro, I told you, I hate the fact that I have 9 to 5 sometimes because I was so geeked at work about this that, oh man, I couldn't contain myself, man. I'm so fired up. Obviously, there's still a big question mark when it comes to the head coach, so it looks like it's down to the Bryans.
We're also not naive neither. We're not just blindly following the new GM. He hasn't done anything yet. We understand that. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that we're gonna, he's the savior. It's not about that right now, guys.
The one biggest difference that I'm noticing, he's talking about the fact that like Dave Gettleman said, hog mollies, and we got to get an offensive line. He's talking about valuing offensive line and why is it important? And Dave Gettleman said the same thing, but obviously it didn't show up. Mm-hmm. Another thing that's very interesting, Dave Gettleman's first ever draft pick, Saquon Barkley, 2nd overall. Joe Sheen's first move, he signed a running back to a futures contract. That's going to show you a lot right there, how he values running back and how others have, how he values offensive line and how others have. It looks like we finally have a GM in this time frame. I'm so geeked.
Yes.
And I'm obviously, like we said, we don't know. We don't know. Right. We don't really know. We don't. But all I know is that, this guy's resume says he was bound to get a GM job.
Yes. It sounds more like we're closer to 2022 GM than we've ever been. That's for sure.
We got, and in my opinion, I think we got the number 1 GM candidate available this offseason.
I think so too.
That right there.
Right.
Hyped. That right there, bro.
Listen,
I'm hyped. And obviously now the next step is the coaches.
I'll say this when it comes to Sheen, and this is something that I really loved about what he said. He said, everybody has tape. Everybody can see what X player could do on the field. That's not how you pick guys. You have to see their character. He pretty much said, all 32 teams can see the physical traits of somebody, but that's not how you determine. And this is when he was talking about Josh Allen too. They asked him, like, how did you guys get Josh? And they said Josh is a competitor. Like, Josh is an alpha. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sound like toxic masculinity and all this stuff, but you can't be bringing all these betas in because they have they're yes sir, yes man. They're not gonna speak back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to Saquon, but I need to see fire, man. Like, I need to see swag on the field. I need to see the Miami Dolphins. I need to see. Not the Miami Dolphins, the Miami Hurricanes. I need to see, like,
you need to see some dog.
I need to see dogs, man, and that's something that we have not seen in this team. This team is neutered.
And I feel like there's some on here.
They are. But that wasn't the culture.
I feel like there is, but also, like, there's not enough. And obviously it shows. It's all good. But a big part of it, too, is who they're going to hire as a head coach. Right. Let's get into it. Right now they just finished up their Brian Flores interview. Right. They did the second interview with Brian Daboll. Tomorrow they're bringing in Leslie Frazier, who I kind of feel like is just a check
formality.
I think right now it's between the Bryans.
Brian Daboll, Brian Flores looks like it's gonna be it's a heads up competition. And let me just say this before we even get to the head coaches. People out there on Twitter are saying, Dable was Sheen's guy, but Mara wanted Flores. So now Flores might be the front runner to the whole thing. Guys, here's what I want you to understand. That's the owner of this team. He will always be the owner of this team. If he wants to see somebody, oh well. I just don't want him to completely disregard Joe Sheen and force somebody on him. But if Joe Sheen can absolutely say, you know what, that's not my number one guy. I wanted Dable, but I can work with this guy because this guy, I like what he said in the interview room. Yo, you can't have. I'm sorry, Joe Sheen. I know. Listen, and I wish we could just listen to you and do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, these guys are the owners of the team. Like, it is what it is. And I why are you mad about that?
And I think that there's definitely a moment. I feel like it's not. I feel like if they and I'm gonna say this afterwards as well too. But I feel like whatever choice they make, it's not gonna be like a Joe Shea
one-way thing. Yes.
I think it's gonna be like okay, you guys want Brian Flores? Let's talk about it and let's figure this out and let's both be on that same page.
Right.
And for everyone saying like, oh, John Mara. Has he really changed? They said the GM's always had the decisions, and look what's happened. Yeah, the GM was Dave Gettleman. I believe that he had a lot of decisions.
I believe so too. Yes.
So I for everyone that's just doing this clickbait stuff, like just saying, like I'm just at this point, like, man, listen, Giants Twitter, I love y'all, but for how hyped we were, is how negative people are too. Like. It is what it is. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be really satisfied unless they're holding up the Lombardi and win the Super Bowl. I think that's the only satisfaction you'll get from everyone on Giants Twitter.
I would bet you that somebody, even in a Super Bowl win, is going to have something negative to say on that Giants Twitter. I can't wait till the day we do win something. I want look because I've seen winning, not while I was on Twitter, man. Not at least not Giants Twitter. Giants Twitter is beyond toxic. And that also brings me to one thing too. Giants Twitter wants to throw a lot of blame around, but they need to blame themselves for a lot of the BS that happened here too. Because believe it or not, the Giants ownership, the Giants front office, Getting and all those people, they did hear this fan base talk. They were talking crap about Evan Ingram. They brought Kyle Rudolph in, a mistake. They were talking about receiver separation. They brought Golladay in my opinion, a mistake. Not because of Golladay, the player, but the amount of money that you pay Golladay. They were talking about the defensive line sucks. What did Gettleman do? He didn't address edge rusher enough, but he kept pounding and trying to draft and trying to get the defensive line right. And he made a mistake on that too. Because he had Tomlinson, then he brought Dexter Lawrence, then he brought Leonard Williams. And on top of that, the fans weren't happy with Leonard Williams' production when the tape said different, when the stats said different, and we didn't pay Leonard Williams when we could have had a steal for him. And we waited to the next season when he had 12 stacks, and then we had to pay him an arm and a leg. So this fan base has talked a lot. And please, if you don't get it by now, that front office and that ownership does hear you guys talk. So what I need Joe Sheen to do and the next head coach to do is delete Twitter, delete your what's that called, your burners, your accounts that are your burner accounts. Leave your phones at home, because fans on Twitter, and I would even put myself in there just for the sake of it, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. Very few people were pointing out that Jason Garrett needed to go. And we waited too long for Jason Garrett to go. But go ahead, Manny.
Yeah. No, man. No, I mean, I feel the same way. A part of me also is pretty happy that at least it seems like the Joe Judge firing had a lot to do with the fan reaction of him coming back and stuff. But
it's all about the fans, man.
But you know what? At the end of the day, listen, it's Mara's team. He's gonna sign off on it. And just like like when people were saying, why is he signing off on? Why is he already saying that Deshaun Watson is out? We're not gonna go after Deshaun Watson. Well, yeah. I mean, he did say at the end of the day, the GM makes the decisions, and I sign off on them, especially when it comes to character situations.
But character situation.
And as good as Deshaun Watson is, that's a big question mark to his
Absolutely,
future.
dude. Because even if he's absolutely innocent of anything that's going on, I have no idea. I don't investigate Deshaun Watson in the situation too much. So if I'm saying something offensive to somebody, I apologize. But let's just say for whatever, he's scot free out of anything that's being allocated towards him. You still have that situation there. Like, yo, Deshaun, why the hell did you have so many women on your case, bro? Like, it's really hard to bring a person in like that, man. So I completely understand why they're like, yo, first of all, cap doesn't make sense for us, and off the field problem doesn't make sense for us. That leads me to believe that all those other quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, like Aaron Rodgers, all those guys are out of the picture for us too. So it's pretty much gonna be figure it out inside.
Good, because to be honest, Aaron Rodgers doesn't really do well in the playoffs. So good. And whatever. Like I said, Russell Wilson is just coming for PR if you were to come.
Right.
I'm happy with at this point, I'd rather the Giants
find the
draft a quarterback.
Find the quarterback.
Whether it's this year or next year, whatever. And that goes into the next conversation. He said no to Deshaun Watson, but they sure as hell said yes to Daniel Jones. And they said, that Daniel Jones will be here and that they didn't do a good job to help his development, which is very, very,
1,000% true.
I think I would, bro. I know you and I have been kind of on opposite. Like we were kind of like you were saying, like, oh, after watching these playoffs, these last weekend with the divisional round, how crazy that was, and how the quarterback balled out, and how it's important. And you were like, man, we can't do it. We need to draft somebody. And I was like, bro, like, okay, that's fine, but these guys all have like, they don't have maybe the best offensive lines, but they still have decent. Like, there's still other. Like, I was so like, man, look.
Well, Joe Burrow won a game with 9 sacks. That's unheard of.
And we were talking about for 10 years how bad the offensive line is.
Right.
And now that we have a chance to actually address it, we're like, nah, let's go and get a quarterback with it. And then after a while, I started opening up to it. Now I'm at the point where, like, man, whatever they decide to do, okay. So I trust it because it's not Dave Gettleman making those decisions anymore.
So let me tell you. Why. I started studying the Giants and breaking down film and stuff like that on Shermer's first year. I haven't done any. I didn't see, and I haven't looked back, and I'm not gonna do that for anything in the past. But just looking from Shermer until now, we have not had in this building good coaching. Even Shermer and his offense that everybody was raving about. That was Daniel Jones' best year and was with Shermer. Even that offense wasn't 2022. What we're seeing right now from the Rams, what we're seeing from the Bengals, what we're seeing from San Francisco, what we're seeing right now, what we're seeing from the Cowboys. Well, even the Cowboys, the Cowboys don't have this innovative 2022 offense. The Cowboys are just the most talented team in the damn league. But I pray that they don't bring in like I hope they don't bring like Dak is one of the guys that has the most time in the pocket to throw back there. That's another thing too. So big plays are going to happen honestly, in that play.
There's a lot of really good offenses. And even offenses that aren't great in the NFL, minus the Giants, will score 30 points a game here and there.
So what I just want to say is this. I am, and I tweeted this, and this tweet picked up, it got a lot of steam, and it was, I'm a big Daniel Jones critic. I really am. I don't like, but even as a Daniel Jones critic, and I'll say this on this podcast, I cannot give him credit for he has physical talent. I think he's more physically gifted than Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy Garoppolo is right now in the conference championship.
Game, bro. He might have a chance to be in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years.
And we'll talk about who you think is going to be in the Super Bowl. But here's my thing with Daniel Jones. My problem with Daniel Jones is right here. The mental. I don't see the mental game at all. I don't see him seeing 8-9 man boxes, making an audible to just snap and toss a 9 route and just completely destroying the offense. Now, But now that as I saw this season go by, I'm like, was this even practice? Was this even taught? Where did you even have the permission to change offense like that? There's a lot of questions that I will never get the answers to.
And it's funny you mentioned that. There was one play where it looked like DJ audible during the Washington game. It looked like they audible, and then the camera zoomed in on Garrett, and you see Garrett's face like go. Like he was like, "Why is this man audible?" And then guess what he did on that play?
It was a good play.
Touchdown over the shoulder to Darius Slayton.
So there you go. I mean, so that's the kind of thing.
This isn't a. And listen, I would probably lean if choose a side.
Right.
I'm on Daniel Jones' side. I think he can be good. I think he could be a lot better than what is there. And I heard Chris Sims make this statement: when you're around crap, you're gonna start smelling like crap, and it's gonna get on you.
Yes.
So that's the thing. That being said, I'm not gonna be upset if the Giants say we're drafting Malik Willis 5th overall.
And that's my hope, to be honest.
I kind of hope they don't pick up the 5th-year option for Daniel Jones.
They won't.
I think personally the Giants are in a good spot to say, hey, we can, even though the cap space, and they said they're going to fix it and they're going to get to it and work it out.
Right.
I have a feeling that there's a good chance they're going to be able to get a decent quarterback that they can sign.
Right. We need
Daniel
competition.
Jones.
He can't just be given the job again.
And like I was telling you yesterday, bro, you don't necessarily need to go ahead and pay that dude a lot of money, because you can sell that dude on the point of, you've seen our quarterback situation. Daniel Jones hasn't played a full season at all. There's a very solid chance you're going to come in and play some games here, as opposed to being a backup in Buffalo or the backup elsewhere.
You're talking about Mitch Trubisky. Look what Trubisky got paid. Look what Jameis Winston got paid. Jameis Winston went to play for $1 million in New Orleans to become the starter there. You know what I'm saying? Look at Cam Newton and what he got paid. I'm not saying bring these guys in. What I'm just saying is, I am 1,000% sure that you could bring a competitive backup and not have ostrich neck here, Glennon
from freaking UT's Colt McCoy.
I bet you Fromm is gonna be here, by the way. I bet you Fromm is gonna be here, by the way. I have a feeling.
Cool. Practice squad, bet. He can be the coach.
Yeah.
But I think if anything, the Giants are definitely going to go ahead. I think the quarterback. I mean, it could be either way. It could be them picking another quarterback in the free agency market.
I would love to see Malik Willis to be drafted and let him compete with Daniel Jones.
Combines and pro days, so there's a lot. There's a lot between now and then.
And guys, by the way, just to give you a heads up, we're gonna break down a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna get in real meat and potatoes when we get the real head coach, and then that's when it starts rolling, because we're going to be breaking down film either through Twitter, through the podcast itself. We're going to really talk about it. As of right now, there's no substance given to us. This is just speculation and trying to dig anything that we can. But let's say...
on three.
Yeah, go ahead.
On three, who do you think is going to be the head coach? 2, 3.
Flores.
Brian Daboll. Okay. All right.
I think it's gonna be Flores, though. To be honest,
I think it'll be Daboll. I really do.
I feel like if it was Daboll, it would have been announced.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be between one of those two guys.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm not mad with either one.
Me neither.
But for Flores,
who would I want? I would want Daboll. I would want Daboll. I would want Daboll. I would want Daboll.
Yeah,
but I think we're going to get Flores.
I would be okay with Flores. Like, he's second. And for me personally, the biggest thing that worries me is just who's going to be his OC. Yeah. And everyone's comparing this situation to the Dolphins situation.
Yeah.
It's the Dolphins, dude. It's the
Dolphins. But you read my mind, though, too much. Because one of the things I keep thinking about is Giants Twitter keeps, saying, hey, Daniel, you better watch out, because if Flores comes in here, he's going to eat that ass. It's so funny, the kind of things that people are saying, and it's just I
have a lot. Yeah, I just have a lot of faith in Joe Schoen that if he signed up to his job, he knows that he's actually going to have a word, and that if they hire whoever they hire, I'm not the mindset to be like, oh, that was Mara this. Schoen won.
But Schoen said it. He said it's not just about the head coach. who are you gonna bring in as your
The
staff?
coaches, and that's a big question mark with Flores because his staff has been.
Huge. That's so important, especially with Flores. And
It's going to be
maybe
very.
Sheen, maybe Joe Sheen is hinting at, yeah, Flores is coming, but Flores, who is your staff gonna be?
Yeah.
And I mentioned on Twitter, this is the offense that I don't care who's the head coach, if it's
You're
Dabble,
saying that, dude. You
if
care
it's
more about the
Flores.
OC DC
I
than the head
care
coach.
about scheme. What
Mhm.
scheme is this offense gonna have? There's only a few schemes working in the NFL right now. That Tom Brady Tampa West Coast, where it's let go of the ball as soon as possible, and when the defense brings in, that's when you hit him over the top. That's that. Andy Reid's West Coast, where it's just bananas. That West Coast system is just crazy. I can't even describe what's going on there. A lot of crossing routes, a lot of in-breaking routes. It's just love over there. Then we have the zone run schemes that the Rams are running, that the 49ers are running, that is so innovative. It's Shanahan's offense, the father, but then with all these young gurus, they have manipulated and they've put their taste on it.
Their own thing.
And
Yep.
we need to get a piece of one of those offenses, and we need to come into 2022. That's my thing.
I'm already penned this in that if Dabo comes, then Dorsey's going to be the OC, and then there's that system.
And I'll
for
be
everyone-
honest, I have not seen. If Dable is the coach, I will deep dive that. I will watch like 10 games over of the Bills. Because the few playoffs.
I will. Yep.
The few playoffs games that we've seen.
Bro, just like like when Shane got the job, I think I went in. I think I started. That's what low key turned me into like, yo.
You
the
sent
Bills
me
are
those videos. It was great.
I think, bro, and we're
You're
gonna
gonna do the
be
same,
right
right,
there. We're gonna be right there looking into it, and before I will know where Dayball gets his haircut if he becomes a head coach.
Yeah,
we're gonna dive deep into it and go from there. So
we're gonna
it's
talk
like,
about what we don't
said.
like about his scheme, what we like about his scheme, what he can't bring because Josh Allen was the reason why he did that, like all that stuff. Go ahead. Yeah.
For people using the whole like Josh Allen
Right.
is like that's a minus against Dayball, or like
Right.
Eric Bieniemy,
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is a minus.
Right.
Especially for Joe Shane's situation with being in the Bills front office and Dayball being there.
Right.
Shane was part of the process that got Josh Allen in the building, and
Right.
Dayball was part of the process to develop him.
Yep.
I would love that type of situation if you get a young quarterback, or if pie in the sky.
But it's
Daniel
not.
Jones
So how I'm saying it's not a knock on Dable.
Yeah,
what I'm just saying
no,
is you can't bring Josh Allen plays to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones doesn't have Josh Allen's arm. You know what I'm saying?
You can't come in here thinking that you're going to be coaching Josh Allen in year 5.
Same thing with Flores. Flores, you can't come in here and start running that man-heavy blitz defense that you ran in Miami, because this defense right now, it's not a man blitzing team. So what I want to see is the coaches adapt to their personnel. No knock to whatever the hell you're doing everywhere else. Bieniemy with Mahomes, Dabble with Allen, or Flores with his high-powered blitzing man coverage Miami defense. Be adaptable. Be water. Bruce Lee saying, man, adapt to what is around you. Be water. That's my thing.
No, I agree 100% with you, man. And I mean, another thing too is obviously it's going to help that they got, a front office that knows how to scout for talent, because like they said, coaches come and go. You got to make sure you have dogs in that locker room that can be flexible around what scheme they play.
And I'm a glass half full kind of guy, Manny. So I am gonna be on board with everything they do. I'm gonna be on board with the draft picks. I'm gonna be on board with the free agency. I don't care what anybody says until I see it on the field and I can critique it. Yes.
That's a good way. That's a good point to go.
Yeah. With free agency, yes, there is free agents, and you bring, and again, same thing as when the coaches, and I can break down the film. I can also break down the film on the players when they bring in on free agency. Perfect. So we are gonna have our. Yeah, we did see this on tape though, and I'm gonna break down everything this year. Like you, and I'm gonna thank you, Manny, because you motivated me to another level on this. So it's gonna be a fun off season that we're gonna have.
Yeah,
Um.
definitely.
So, but I'm going in it generally thinking optimistic. I'm not gonna be like these toxic Twitter, and I love Twitter. So don't get me wrong, Twitter. I love you guys, and I love the toxicity too. I'm about that toxic life, but I'm not negative. I'm not a negative person, and I'm not gonna already come in with a negative attitude to a new guy. I know it's still the same Giants, but it's a new guy. Some of you guys need to forget the name Giants, because it's not the Giants anymore. It's Joe Sheen and what Joe Sheen is gonna do.
Yes, exactly. And they did it the way we wanted. So let's just be hyped.
Exactly.
The coach is on the way.
Right.
So we're gonna.
Where they're gonna hire him by?
You know, next week is the Senior Bowl.
Right. So we'll have a coach by then.
I'm
Monday.
Convinced.
When do you think we're gonna have him by?
Monday. I think Monday or Tuesday is when it all starts. But I'm convinced that they're gonna have a
press
head coach
conference by Wednesday.
I'm convinced they'll have a press conference. Maybe Monday, Tuesday. Because I think that they're gonna try to get the head coach over there.
I'll be in Dominican Republic, man, and I'll still be goddamn like freaking listening to that stream.
I'm pretty sure by tomorrow. I have a feeling tomorrow we're gonna know.
No, or because today, Saturday there's an interview on Saturday, I think.
No, that's it. The last interview is Leslie Frazier on Friday.
Oh, Frazier. Okay, Friday. Okay, so tomorrow's the last interview.
Hopefully by the time you touch down, it's been settled. It's been done.
Right. And yeah, man, what else do we want to touch base on? We talked about Jones. Pretty much Jones is going to be given an opportunity. That doesn't mean that we're saying don't bring competition, fish your option, don't draft a quarterback. That's just saying, yes, this guy deserves a new scheme. This guy deserves a new opportunity with an offensive line. It is what it is. And me personally, it's more about the scheme than the offensive line. To be honest, I even think with a productive scheme, he could have made something happen with this offensive line. And then a big deal too. You don't think so? That's fine. No, that's fine.
Yeah, I just don't think any of those guys outside of
neither is anybody. 99% of Twitter agrees with you.
They do have to like build that offensive line.
They do, without a doubt.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
they don't have to be the '96 Cowboys offensive line. They just need to be comparable and playable. They can't be XFL offensive line.
Right. And yeah, no, dude, like I 100% get it. This line was bad, and it's gonna get changed. They're gonna go ahead and either the first pick or the second pick, guaranteed, it's gonna be a lineman.
It's gonna be an O lineman.
Guaranteed. But again, it's just scheme is my main concern.
Yeah, no. You're big X and those guys, man.
Right,
for sure.
Right. And yeah, man, anything else, Manny, that you want to touch base on? I think we covered pretty much a good chunk of it so far.
Yeah. It's all about who the head coach is going to be. So by the time you guys listen to this, he may already be there.
Right.
So that's excitement.
And that's when the meat potatoes. Yeah. That's when me and you are gonna separate ourselves from everybody else, baby.
I can't wait to get to the point where we know the head coach, so I can really dive deep into Ikem Ekwonu's tape and dudes like Evan Neal, and then we can start talking about drafts. Let's go. So I'm super hyped. I'm just hyped.
And by the way, like guys, Manny does this draft life stuff. I'll be honest, I'm gonna come out and say it, man. I'm not watching college tape. I'm not watching college games. But if you give me a name, I'll definitely watch the tape and I'll give it my grade on it.
Yeah,
I will absolutely put in work too. I'm not just gonna leave Manny to do it. And we're gonna bring people in. I had people previous years in the podcast that are scouts that I trust 100% what they gotta say. We're gonna bring him in. It's gonna be exciting for me to hear Manny and hearing all these other guys and hear them go back and forth and argue or whatever or agree with certain guys. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have a lot of things for you guys lined up in the near future.
And it's gonna start with the head coach getting hired. It's gonna be either tomorrow. It's gonna be either Friday or Saturday. So we can't wait for it. And hey, listen. Like I said in the very beginning, the Joe Shane era has begun. And for the first time since 1979, the Giants have a brand new person in charge. Let's go, Giants.
There you go, guys. For Manny, I'm Antonio, man. Breaking tackles. We see you guys.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. My man trying to leave. Hold on. Before we end this,
yes.
Super Bowl picks.
Yes.
Who's going to the Super Bowl?
I got you right now. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Rams are going to get upset.
The Chiefs. I think they're going to make it as well.
I think Chiefs
win.
But I got
the Rams. I got the Rams beating the 49ers. When's the last time a team has lost to another team 3 times in the season?
Yes.
It's been a minute. And I feel like this Rams team
but for some reason, the 49ers give me Giants wild card Super Bowl vibes.
I can't go against our boy OBJ.
I'm going to tell you right now. F it. 49ers win the Super Bowl.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about it.
I'm in. Yo, it's gonna be interesting, man. I think I can't wait to see that, man. I don't know.
It's gonna be man. Listen, like we talked about it, we're gonna have a head coach this weekend. Royal Rumble Saturday.
By the way,
Sunday.
I'll give you this much. In terms of wrestling, unfortunately, I'm all invested on AEW, not WWE. But I'm gonna start getting back into WWE with Royal Rumble. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it live, obviously, because I'll be in the Dominican Republic.
You're gonna be enjoying your time,
right? But as soon as I get back, my fiance is a huge wrestling fan. Like, dude, she got me back into wrestling, so I'm gonna go with her. And Kevin Owens is one of my guys. We're gonna binge watch the Royal Rumble. And listen, if you want, we can also have a podcast talking about wrestling. There's a lot of people on Giants Twitter that also are big wrestling fans. We might have to tap into that network right there.
Yeah.
All right,
man. Have a safe flight. I appreciate you. Everyone listening, thank you guys. New beginnings.
Absolutely.
Cheers. New beginnings.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. I wish I had something. I got some water here to cheer for that, baby. I'll drink it to that. Guys, it's going to get better, man. It's going to get better. Just believe. Be power positivity. For Manny, I'm Tone. Peace, guys.
Manny.